On my 75th birthday, my son looked me in the eye and screamed, "Everyone is sick of you. Get out." His wife grabbed my handmade birthday cake, the one I'd spent all morning baking, and threw it into the trash like a piece of rotting garbage. The guests gasped. My son watched me tremble. But what they didn't realize was that in that moment, something inside me didn't just break, it cleared. They thought they were throwing away a cake. They didn't realize they were throwing away their entire future. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe and let me know in the comments which city you're listening from. This is a story about the moment a doormat finally becomes a wall. I spent 50 years as an architect of other people's lives. When my husband Jabari passed, leaving me with a 15-year-old son, Kian, I folded my dreams like old laundry. I was a senior design engineer. I had projects, business trips, and a seat at the table. But I gave it up. I stayed in a cramped apartment so Kian could have the best. I emptied my retirement to bail him out of emergencies that were usually just poor choices. Even on the morning of my 75th birthday, I gave him my last Social Security check because he needed a car part. I told myself, it's a maternal duty. I baked my signature sweet potato pound cake, the smell of home, the smell of Jabari, and headed to the lake house. The lake house. It was the only thing Jabari left me. But my daughter-in-law, Serafina, had erased us from it. She cut down the maples we planted because they were messy. She replaced our memories with manicured lawns and stainless steel. I was a guest in my own home. No, I was the help. The party was a parade of people I didn't know, drinking expensive wine I couldn't afford. I spent the day in the kitchen, slicing cheese and clearing plates. I was part of the decor, silent and functional. When I finally sat down and tried to share a memory of a treasure Jabari and I buried under a pine tree, Serafina cut me off. "Oh, please, not the old stories. We're talking about Turks and Caicos." Then came the cake. My gift. My heart. I brought it out on our 25th anniversary platter. "Why would you bring that?" Serafina's voice sliced through the room. "It's a sad little homemade thing. We have a real cake from a bakery." Elias, an old friend, tried to defend me. "It's tradition, Serafina." That word, tradition, snapped her. To her, tradition was an insult to her modern image. She grabbed the platter and, with a look of pure fury, dumped my cake into the trash. Thump, the sound was wet, heavy, and final. I looked at Kian. I waited for my son to stand up for me. Instead, he pointed a finger at my face. "Look what you did. You've embarrassed us. Get out. Everyone is tired of you." The wire snapped. For 50 years, I had lived on hope. In 1 second, that hope was surgically removed. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I simply nodded. I put on my old coat, walked out the door, and closed it. That click was the period at the end of a very long, exhausting sentence. On the bus ride home, I didn't feel pain. I felt clarity. I began to audit my life like an accountant. Asterisk fact 1, my gold pendant, a gift from my late husband, went missing 5 years ago. I later saw it on Serafina's neck. She lied to my face. I stayed silent. Asterisk fact 2, I lived on bread and yogurt so they could afford luxury vacations. They never once invited me. I was an ATM, not a mother. Asterisk fact 3, they had slowly erased me. My photos were moved to the hallway by the bathroom. My name was changed to Mrs. Okoro to sound more formal. He told me to get out. A son's wish is law. I decided to grant it, literally. The next morning, I opened my old wooden folder. There it was, the deed of title. Subject of right, Imani Sadia Okoro. Sole owner. I remembered the day I turned down a dream job in Atlanta to keep this house for Kian. I sacrificed my career for a roof that he just kicked me out from under. I picked up the phone. I'd like to list the lake house for urgent sale, I told the realtor. Price it to move. The key is under the stone. For 3 days, I ignored the phone. I knitted. I ate the food I liked. I reclaimed my name. Then, the for sale sign went up on Serafina's perfect lawn. My phone exploded. When they realized I wasn't answering, they used their key to my house, and burst in. Serafina was red with rage, Kian was pale with fear. "Have you lost your mind?" she shrieked. "You're throwing your grandchildren into the street." I didn't look at her rage. I looked at her fear. She wasn't losing a home, she was losing a lifestyle she hadn't earned. Kian tried to play the victim. "Mom, is this about the cake?" "I'm sorry. But this is our home." "It is not your home," I said. My voice was steel. "It is my property. You have lived there for 15 years for free. I paid the taxes. I paid the repairs. You told me everyone was sick of me. You told me to get out. Well, Kian, I am leaving. And since you don't need me, you don't need my house, my money, or my silence." They stood there, paralyzed. Their world, built on my sacrifice, was crumbling. "You have 30 days to move," I said. Then I turned back to the window. The house sold in a week. The sum that hit my bank account was more than I had ever seen. It wasn't just money, it was the value of my unrealized career and every dress I never bought. I didn't waste a second. I bought a high-end digital hearing aid. For the first time in years, I heard the birds, the wind, the leaves. I cried, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming beauty of a world I had tuned out. I bought a trench coat. Not gray. Not practical. A deep, royal blue, the color of the Mississippi at dusk. And then, I booked it, the Great Lakes cruise Jabari and I had dreamed of for 40 years. Sound of water/ship horn, I am standing on the deck now. The wind is cold, but my blue coat is warm. I have a sketchbook in my lap. I am no longer a helper or a doormat. I am Imani Sadia Okoro. They moved into a rundown rental. Kian is working 2 jobs. Serafina is learning that house manager isn't a resume entry that gets you a corner office. I feel no malice toward them. An autumn leaf must eventually fall when it detaches from the branch. I wasn't the cause of their fall, I was simply the strength they decided they didn't need. Thank you for listening. If you've ever had to walk away to find yourself, tell me your story in the comments. Subscribe for more. Be well.